Once you double-click the orchid icon on your desktop, you will see a screen similar to this. There will be both the FirstNet and the power chart icon. Again, we are only covering FirstNet here, so click it once to launch. Once loaded, you will see this screen. Your username is going to be your county employee number, which is indicated by either the letter E or C followed by a 6-digit number. Enter in your password and then click the OK button. Here we are using a training environment, and so we are using a training login. Once you have logged in, this will be the first pop-up that you see. If you're ready to start seeing patients, you can click the Yes button to check in as an available provider. This screen allows you to describe what your provider role is and customize how your name appears on the tracking board. Under Provider, your name will automatically populate here. Display name is how you want your name to appear on the track board. Most people choose their last name. Under Provider Role, you can specify if you are a medical student, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, resident physician, or attending physician. For this training, I'm going to walk through as though I am a resident, and my display name will be my last name. Once you have chosen your provider role, you can choose your default relationship, which in this case is a resident. You may also have an associated provider color, which is the background color for your display name on the tracking board. Choosing a unique color will allow you to easily see at a glance what patients you're signed up for. To choose an associated provider color, click the checkbox next to the text. It will bring up a color wheel, and you can choose whichever color you prefer. I'm going to choose this blue. Depending on your site, you may have available teams or assigned team locations. Clarify if this is important to specify with your specific site. Here, the available teams are P for the purple team and G for the green team. If you happen to be at Harbor, for instance, you could assign yourself to the appropriate team. Here I'll say I'm on the green team. The last thing you need to do is make sure that both the available provider and available reviewer boxes are checked. These are important because available provider will allow you to sign up for patients, and available reviewer will allow you to mark labs as reviewed. Click the OK button to log in. It will remember your login for subsequent encounters. The tracking board is what you will first see when you log into Orchid, and all of the patients in the emergency department or urgent care will be displayed by default. Normally, there are fewer tabs on top which only represent the facility you are working at, but for this training environment, all of the DHS sites are displayed. We will now work through a sample encounter with the patient John Doe. At a glance, you can see the location of your newest patient, Mr. Doe, under bed, as well as his age, name, and reason for visit, which is listed as shortness of breath. The attending column, or ATT column, will demonstrate the display name and associated provider color of the attending when he or she signs up for the patient, and the res column will demonstrate the display name and associated provider color of the medical student, resident, nurse practitioner, or physician assistant after they sign up for the patient. The most recent set of vital signs will be displayed on the track board. The patient's nurse will be listed under RN. The Events tab displays various events. The most important two are the medical screening examination event, which is listed by the M icon, and the registration and financial screening of the patient, which is marked by the key icon. Once the MSE note is complete, the M will disappear. Once registration has registered the patient and inputted their insurance information, the key icon will disappear. Once we have seen Mr. Doe and performed a medical screening exam, we will go over how to write the MSE note. We will come back to the rest of the sections on the track board once we have seen Mr. Doe, as they are more easily understood in the context of a patient encounter. First, sign up for Mr. Doe by clicking either the provider icon on the navigation bar, which is here, or by right-clicking the patient and clicking Assign Provider. Now you can see that my name and associated provider color is shown under the resident column because that's what I signed in as. Before we see Mr. Doe, as long as he is stable, we have time and can look at his emergency department summary page and triage note to have a better idea of his presenting complaint. To open the chart, double-click the leftmost column on the track board, or alternatively click the summary button on the navigation bar. The summary button on the navigation bar is shown here. The ED summary is a good overview of the patient's important information. The leftmost column displays vital signs, past medical history, home medications, and even insurance information under the Additional Patient Information tab. Recall that Mr. Doe's key icon had not disappeared, meaning he has not been registered, and so his insurance information is not visible here, but will be once the key icon is gone. The middle column is useful for a brief review of laboratory results, both current and previous. The rightmost column shows recent, previous, and future scheduled visits under the Visits tab. The next section of the chart we'll discuss is the Provider Notes area. The Provider Notes area places all notes in the chart in chronological order. You can use this screen to see the triage nursing note and get an idea of what the patient is presenting with. After clicking the ED triage intake triage note, you can see that the triage nurse has charted that he's presenting with increased shortness of breath for a week. This area will also show his past medical history, allergies, and any medications that he may be taking. If the patient has many notes and many visits, this can be a relatively cumbersome way of doing a chart biopsy. The tab below it, called Notes, is a better way to organize your data. Under the Notes tab, you can organize all the patient's notes by type, by date, who wrote it, or which encounter. By type is probably the best method, and you can see that there's a discharge summary that has previously been put in for Mr. Doe. If this patient had multiple visits, it would be easy to get buried in the Provider Notes tab because everything is put just in chronological order. Now that we have done our chart biopsy, let's go see Mr. Doe, see what we should order, how to see those results, how to document our encounter, and carry out a disposition plan.